And welcome back into the Cisco TV studio in the center of the hub, coming at you from Cisco Live 2019 Barcelona. We're going to change gears just a little bit. We're going to talk about data-driven transformation. This used to be optional. This is no longer optional. This is a requirement for any customer of ours or of any one of our partners, and we've got the right person here in the TV studio to talk with about that. I've got Alex Wallner in here with me. How are you today, Alex?
Thank you very much, I'm very well. Thank you, Steve.
You are a very, very busy man. I'm so glad that we got you for a few minutes here to have a conversation together. So Alex is a Senior VP and GM for EMEA for NetApp. NetApp, one of those phenomenal long-term partnerships between NetApp and Cisco. We're very grateful for that. We've built some remarkable things together. So I want to pick your brain a little bit and kind of get down to the bottom line story. As I just said, data-driven transformation, it used to be an option. It's a good idea. If you're going to transform, you should use, data-driven capability. It's no longer an option. What do you think was the tipping point? Why is it required now?
Yeah. I think it is quite interesting. If you see, I would say for 99% of the companies that we deal with, data is really the competitive advantage or disadvantage, how you deal with it. You use your data for internal reasons, how to touch with your customers, with your ecosystem. So that is the obvious one. And then you see how the market developed. It is quite interesting, a study 2006, when you see the companies based on market cap, 1 out of the top 10 companies was a data-driven and digital company. Last year it was 6 out of them. So we all see that coming, and still we face a lot of customers who do not have a data strategy, which is quite puzzling, yeah?
Isn't that amazing that there is still resistance to this idea that without the data, how do you know how to build out? If you're going to digitize, if you're going to move the network and the structure forward, without that data, how do you do it? You're shooting in the blind, right?
Yeah, but it is difficult. I think Cisco and NetApp are technology companies by the heart, and technology indeed is just a small piece of that journey for our end customers. There's processes, there's people, there's strategy behind that needs to follow, and I think that is very much the hard part. And we always admire these big digital companies, but I would say again, 99% of our joint customers are not digital-born companies. They come out of very traditional environments and are facing a huge transformation.
How do we tell this story? How do we get them engaged by doing a good job of storytelling that gets them to say, again, I don't have a choice in this. I have to move in this particular direction, and I have to get the job done if I want to not only stay competitive, but really stay at the top of the market.
I think the key thing is that I would say strong vendors like Cisco and NetApp need to help our customers to define a strategy. And it's always around 3 core points. It's really getting operational efficiencies done, improving end customer touch points, and creating new business opportunities for our end customers. That is what digital business is about. And I think especially creating new end customer touch points is something that our technology jointly enables perfectly and goes much beyond just looking at technology.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that. It's a good segue into why NetApp and Cisco are in such great partnership with one another. What do we offer together as a collective that you're really not going to find anywhere else in the industry?
Yeah. So maybe starting with the NetApp component, we created something that we call Data Fabric. In the end, customers need to access data in a secure, in a real-time way, independent from where the data is. If it is in the cloud, if it is on-premise, if it is with a local service provider. So that is a closed data model that we developed. And in addition, the Cisco partnership brings a validated design that enables customers to deploy that wherever and however they want. And to put it in very simple words, customers are very interested in data. They are not interested in spending resources and money into infrastructure. So the more validated and the more closer the design is that we offer jointly, the better it is for the end customer. And it is really what we offer as a FlexPod solution, which is a converged infrastructure for very traditional workloads as well as for exciting new workloads like artificial intelligence. The customer can really bridge the gap between the old world and the new world.
And how long have we been doing FlexPod together now here at this point?
Oh my God, we do that forever. I think it is a fantastic journey we had. We are together, I think, for 7.5 years. And we started very, very small. Now we have several hundred of validated designs, and we can really capture everything that matters for the customer around data.
Think about the nature of the market. You just mentioned ago the difference between 2006 and today. How many products can we still point to that have been out there for 7.5 years I mean, things don't have a life cycle more than 7.5 months to 2 years here at this particular point. So again, I think this really speaks to the strength and the way that we have changed the marketplace together. What's next? What do you see as the next steps in this ongoing process of really making data-driven transformation work for the customer?
From a technology perspective, I think Cisco and NetApp are already working on bringing new workloads, future workloads, even closer into our validated designs. I think that's the technology aspect. From a joint partner perspective, both sides are very, very committed to talk to enterprise customers, to customers of all shape and form, and really help them define strategies, processes, and also give a hand in coming from A to B with the people they have to really execute also on all these data-driven strategies. So I think technology is core, is key. But I think that Cisco and NetApp are committed to do much more for the end customer.
Definitely true. I want to ask you also, for that customer who is fearful, they've got that block up, they know what they have to get done, but they're resistant, the wall is there. How do we tear that down? What is the simplest, easiest way to tell them that story that says, you have to do this?
So what we usually do jointly in our partnership is bringing customers together with other customers who did it right, who had a tough learning curve. I think we have several thousand customers who are in different maturity levels in their journey, and bringing these customers together, having them talking to each other is always the best thing. Because we are preaching, but I think the reality check is always what matters.
It's so true. Watch it working out there in the real world. None of this is vapor, this is all reality-based, and we can bring it directly to their doorstep. I think that's exactly the right thing to do. And by the way, great here at the event. NetApp is right inside the world of solutions. Cisco all around, we can have those conversations here in the room. What is the thing that you think is going to be most formative this week here in Barcelona for you, for NetApp, and for that next step in the process?
What I sense here is that customers, but also in our partnership, we are much more open to the new topics than we were in the last few years. It is not odd animals anymore. It is very, very close to our core business. Meanwhile, I would not say becomes a commodity, but it becomes a usual follower of our daily business. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoyed it because I never liked that gap between the legacy world and the fascinating new world and the old guys and the new guys. That really mixes and matches, and you can see it here all over the place, and I think the setup here is perfectly done by you.
I love it. All right, so last thing, if people want to learn a little bit more, they can go to
NetApp.com, Cisco.com, and our joint website that we have around FlexPod.
Can't be easier than that. Alex, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you for the time. Congratulations on everything happening at NetApp. And speaking of NetApp, I'm looking out on the monitor, and my buddy Agadim Isabayeva is out there at NetApp, and we're going to do a little demo on FlexPod right now. Hello, friend.
Hello, Steve. Thank you very much. I'm here at World of Solutions at NetApp's booth, and I've got Adam Fore with me. Hi, Adam.
Hi. Thanks.
Thank you for being here. So Adam is Director of Virtualization and Cloud Solutions Marketing at NetApp. So Adam, I have a few questions to you today. Well, could you tell me more about NetApp's and Cisco's joint solution called FlexPod? I've heard a lot of that, but it's nice if we just come back to it. What is it all about?
Yeah, FlexPod is a solution that NetApp and Cisco have jointly designed. So it's a solution that we've been had in the market for about 8 years. So we've actually been doing it for a very long time. Today it is the #1 converged infrastructure solution in the market. And basically it brings together Cisco UCS, Cisco Nexus data center switching, and then NetApp storage. And then we actually test and validate it against a wide variety of different enterprise workloads. And it really helps customers be able to kind of deploy these more advanced solutions and do it in a very confident way.
Sounds great. So we are really converging networking, compute, and storage. Sounds amazing, right? So what are the latest innovations with FlexPod?
Yeah, one of the really strengths of FlexPod is be able to take some innovative new technologies, innovative new approaches, and then really make it more consumable for large enterprises by doing testing, best practices, validation, and packaging it up for enterprises. And so we've continued to do that. We've got a long history, and what we're really introducing today is AI architecture, so that you can actually bring in kind of new advanced AI approaches, and that can actually be deployed confidently on a FlexPod in your environment. End-to-end NVMe, so that's an advanced networking architecture, really optimized for flash, so you can actually start delivering ultra low latency, very high performance for some of the more modern real-time applications. And then we've also validated it against all the latest generations of enterprise apps, so the SAPs, the Oracles, the SQL servers, the more advanced VDIs that require graphics processing. And finally, there's a lot of continued enhancements on the cloud connectivity, which is an important part of what we do with FlexPod.
Sounds great. So what would you say are the top customer challenges that FlexPod helps them with?
Yeah, some of the top challenges, one is just taking advanced architectures and being able to confidently kind of get them working well in your enterprise, right? So take, for example, AI, right? It's a newer approach, right? So there's lots of questions on, hey, what's the optimal way to actually support an AI architecture in your environment? It requires GPUs, it requires unique characteristics on your flash environment, and then what NetApp's able and Cisco are able to do with FlexPod is actually to have a proven solution that's been tested by Cisco and NetApp, come in there, and they know that it's going to run, they know it's going to work, and it's up and running actually very, very fast.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I think, yeah, it sounds great. FlexPod, convergence of networking, compute, storage all together, right? Cisco and NetApp together. Well, yeah, thanks again for your time. And now back to the studio.